22. You have to say amen. I always do when I'm in church, ask people to stand, but you can go and stay seated. You know I can't see, so you're probably going to sit anyway. Genesis chapter 22, beginning at verse 1. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. I'm reading from the NIV. He said to him, Abraham, here I am, he replied. Then God said, take your son, your only son whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you. Early the next morning, Abraham got up, loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set out for the place God told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up, saw the place in a distance, and he says to his servant, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship and then we will come back to you. Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac. And he himself carried the fire and the knife. And as the 2 of them went together, Isaac spoke up and said to his father, Abraham. Father, yes, my son. Abraham replied, the fire and the wood are here, Isaac said, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. And the 2 of them went together to the place. Verse 13. Abraham looked up, and there in the thicket he saw a ram caught by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called the place Jehovah-Jireh. The Lord will provide. And to this day it is said, on the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. Come on, go into a word of prayer with me. Father God, your presence is already here. Touch the folk at home. Touch somebody who needs to have your spirit. Bless us today, Lord, with what you want us to have blessed with today. You know our needs. And Lord, strengthen me. Bring back to my mind everything that needs to be said. Get your glory in this place. In Jesus' name, amen. We're going to speak from the thought today. Relax. God's always got a ram. One more time. Relax. God has always got a ram. One more time. Relax. God has always got a ram. One of the toughest lessons in life to learn is who you can trust. Who is your friend? Who really has your back? Who is just using you or who just means you no good at all? It is one of life's hardest lessons to learn. It's a lifelong lesson, and I guarantee you many of us can look back in our past and see where we have had some folk in our life who have burned us. We got some times when we were dumped. We got some times when we were rejected. We got some times when we felt flim-flammed and bamboozled. What you promised me in this relationship just did not come to pass. It was like this, it was like this lady who came to see me. She made a counseling session, made an appointment to come see me. And I'll never forget when she walked in. She had been divorced for several years, and she had gone into trying other relationships. All of them had fizzled out. So she came to talk to me about this new guy in church that was pursuing her for a relationship. I guess she wanted my approval. So she sat down and she began talking. She said, Pastor, he is saying all the right stuff. He is doing all the right stuff. All gentlemanly, it's apparent, I'm looking out, but it looks like he just doesn't want me for my body. It's like he just don't want me for sex. He seems like he knows the Lord, and he seems like a nice guy. He's got a good job. And oh yeah, Pastor, he ain't that ugly. I said, whoa. You ladies crack me up. I stopped her right there because I remember she said, he's not that ugly. I said, do you mean he looks good? She said, well, yeah, what I said, he's just not that ugly. I left it alone. I guess y'all know what that means. She said, and right now we seem to be getting along so well. And I'm scared. So I said, well, look, what seems to be the problem? You said he's doing well, he's treating you respectful. What's going on here? And then she said something that I could tell was a culmination of all the past hurt, past pain, all the struggles in her life. You know, we put that front face on. We don't want nobody to know what's going on the inside. She looked at me and couldn't hold it. The tear was coming down her eye. She said, I just don't trust anybody anymore. Wow. That is a bad place to be, but it's a real place to be. How many know people will jack your life up? People will promise you stuff and not deliver it. And it's hard sometimes not to get your heart scarred with trust. What am I saying? Even the Bible says, Proverbs 24, I want you to see this verse, Proverbs 26, verse 24, says, your enemies, watch this, disguise themselves with their lips. Woo! They disguise themselves with their lips, but their heart is full of deceit. That scripture is saying that your enemies come up to you and they say the words you want to hear, and those words disguise who they really are. But on the inside, they are full of deceit. They can't wait to burn you. The psalmist picks that up in Psalms 36, verse 2 and 4. Listen to this. This is God telling David the characteristics of wicked people. Listen to this. In their own eyes, they flatter themselves too much to detect or hate their own sin. The words of their mouths are wicked and deceitful. They fail to act wisely. Here's the part that messed me up. Even on their bed, they plotting evil. Those are the kind of folk we have to worry about, because those are the folk that steal your trust. And God is letting us know there are some people out there. Come on, don't act you don't know what I'm talking about. How many of you have had a friend? You let them in your life. You thought they had your back. You knew they were your ride or die. They told you, if anything went down, I'm going to be the one to defend you. You walked with this person. You had lunch with this person. Y'all shared stuff together. You knew this person had your back. But when you got in trouble, when trouble came in, somebody lied on you, or things went south on you, you looked around, waiting on your friend to step up. Not only were they silent, you couldn't hear a voice defending you, they also sometimes joined in to the folk that was talking about you. You play it off, but your heart's hurt. And not only that, how many of us have had a friend that fits a friend from the gospel of the OJs? They smiling in your face. All the time they want to take your place. The backstabbers. Come on, Eddie. Eddie LeVert, come on, tell us what they do. Tell us what happened, Eddie. Here's what Eddie said. I keep getting all these visits from my friends. They come to my house again and again and again. What they there for, Eddie? They only there to see my woman. I don't even be home and they just keep coming. What they got, Eddie LeVert, tell us what they got. Knives so long, stuck tight in their fist, aiming straight at my back, and I don't think they'll miss. Backstabbers. Come on, don't act like you don't know the kind of people that have used you and sucked everything out of you. And when they got what they wanted, they stabbed you in the back. I know some folk, they want to ruin your reputation. They will sleep with you and tell everybody in the world about it. Not only will they tell everybody, when you were making love with them, it was like all good. But as soon as the word got on the street, you turned into a hoe. Excuse me, or a dog. Because these kind of folk do not have your best interest at heart. Last one. Let me do this one, and you will have enough anecdotal evidence for me to go into this text and show you what this text is saying. The worst one to me is those folks that use the L word. Come on, y'all with me? Come on, I love you. You know what I'm talking about? You didn't solicit it. You didn't ask for it. You thought they really meant it because they said, I love you. Now you making plans for the future. But every time you go to this person and ask them, come on, it's time to ante up. Where is this relationship going? They got all kind of excuses as to why they can't make a commitment. And then you're left being strung along. Now you're all in love. You know, like they said, like we said back in my day, your nose is wide open. You don't open up your heart. You don't let these folk in. And now this thing is dying slowly and you're in pain. Watch this. Watch this. Not only that, you find yourself worse off because these kind of relationships don't just end, they die slowly. It's like you can't get rid of them. What happens is they leave, they come back, they leave, they come back. Then one day you get smart enough to say, you ain't coming back here, Joker. And you lock the door. What I'm telling you is relationships are the basis of trust. I know what you will and will not do based on how you treat me. I can look in the past. If you didn't hang in there with me, if you weren't the one with me, I know you don't have my best interest at heart. What is the theme that goes through everything I just told you about? The major theme that runs through this is that you need to find a relationship that you can trust. I know who I can trust by their past action. This morning, I got some great news for you. Somebody ought to smile. I got some good news for you. I want to tell you why this powerful text, this familiar text, this divine text, gonna bless you, man. I mean, you got to see what's in this text, because what God is telling us is we can trust people by the relationship. Well, let me introduce you to somebody who will never let you down. Let me share with you somebody who will never walk out on you. Let me share with you somebody who won't burn you. Not only that, I'm talking about somebody, and somebody out there knows what I'm saying, who will pick up the pieces. Is there anybody that can shout that there was a day you thought you were done, but God came along and picked up the pieces of your life, and now you're still standing here with joy because of what the Lord has done? This text, I'm excited. I'm getting to it, but you need to understand something as I go to it. We usually talk about this text as, why would God tell Abraham to sacrifice his only son? We usually talk about this text with, wow, I don't know if I would have done that. Look at the obedience of Abraham and Isaac. We usually talk about this text talking about the things that were done in the text, but there is one biblically universal theme of thought that happens all over the Bible, but a lot of times we don't function, we don't pay attention to it, we don't focus on it, we don't look at it, but there is a powerful thing in that 13th verse. Look at it. It blew me away when God showed me this. This is the point of all of our security. Verse 13 said, and Abraham lifted up his eyes, and behold, he saw a ram caught in the thicket by the horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it for a burnt offering instead of his son. And Abraham named the place Jehovah Jireh. That's it. Don't miss it. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. When Abraham saw that ram, it was the answer to his prayer. When Abraham saw that ram, it meant that he had a time of celebration and joy. All I'm trying to tell you this morning is Jehovah Jireh, the God who will provide. Here is what you can rest all your problems on. Here is what you can rest all your insecurities on. Here is what you can do if everybody walks out on you. Here's what I want to tell you. There's a God who will always provide. Here's what you need to know. I tagged this text. God always has a ram. The ram is symbolic of God's getting ready to meet your needs. I got to slow down some. God is getting ready to meet your needs. Every time you see a ram, you ought to know something. Jehovah Nissi, the God of my banner. Jehovah Jireh, the God that will provide. Jehovah Rapha. What I'm telling you is, God is the one you can depend on. You know what he'll do? He'll get you out of your mess. Pick the pieces back up. Turn your life around so you can realize God always has a ram. Turn around in your house wherever you are and tell somebody, you better quit worrying. Relax. God already got the answer. Relax. God already has a ram. Relax. God's getting ready to meet your need. I'm so excited. I know I shouldn't be shouting like this, but I got to tell you, God can do something that nobody else can do. You look at me talking about God can do a lot of things can't nobody else do. Yeah, but there's one thing in this text that God can do that nobody else can do. Yeah, I got you now. Come on, close. Here it is. Here's what it is. Here's what God can do nobody else can do. He's the only one that can make that statement. He is Jehovah Jireh and back it up. You can't back it up. You can want to meet my needs and you can't. But God is the creator of everything. He owns everything. He is sovereign. He can make what he don't have. Are you listening to me? Whatever you need in life, God already has provided. I need you to lay down all your fears. Sit back and relax because God always has a ram. Oh, I'm going to the text now. What I mean? God will not walk out on you. What do you mean, Pastor? Isaiah 43, verse 2. Look what it says. Here's what God said. When you go through the waters, I will be with you. The rivers, Isaiah 43 and 2, won't overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. And the flame won't get over. God said, I am so much in control that you can walk through the fire and I'll be there. God won't walk out on you. Not only will God won't walk out on you, God will never let you down. Philippians chapter 1 verse 6 says this. Philippians 1 and 6 says, being confident of this very thing, that he that has begun a good work in you will finish it until the day of Christ. If God started something in your life, come on, that's a shout for somebody. If God started something in your life, can you at least acknowledge Jehovah Jireh will complete what he started in your life? And finally, not only will God not walk out on you, here's what happens. God will always make sure that he never treats you wrong because of the way he loves you. How do I know? 1 John 4 and 8. 1 John 4 and 8 says, whoever does not know love does not know God. Because God is love. God is love. Not God has love. God is love. Let's go to this text right now. Please write these three things down. You know, I'm always going to tell you where I'm going so you can judge the time. We're almost out of here. Watch this. The first thing is, if you're going to understand God has a ram, then you're going to first need to know you will be tested. Write it down. You will have to be tested. You will have to be tested. Come on, don't fret, don't cry now. You'll have to be tested. Secondly, you will have to walk in obedience. Oh, yeah. We cannot get our needs met contrary to other folks' thoughts without understanding that we will have to walk in obedience, and you will receive God's power and his blessings. Let's do it again. You will have to be tested. You will have to walk in obedience, and you will receive God's power and blessings. Now, some of y'all didn't know what I was doing at the beginning of the service. But you know what this is? This is my need box. Come on. Amen. You guys come to church, listen to people preach, got all these needs, and then you forget about the fact that there is a provider. Everything I needed, God provided. Can you see something about this box? The box is never, it's always overflowing because God is just looking for somebody who says, I know you got a ram. What do you need? Sickness. God got a ram called healing. Amen. Peace. God got a ram called, I'll give you peace that passeth understanding. Joy. God got a ram that said, I will brighten up your day. Come on back to this text. All right, so you will have to be tested. Look at this. And sometimes later means that we are now taking into consideration all that Abraham has been through to get to this point. The context of our text says that sometimes later, God tested Abraham. I need you to know, sometimes later, a lot of times mean that you have already gone through a series of tests. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Abraham was a man of faith. You and I all know that. But did you know that for 25 years up to this juncture, he has been walking around the desert, promised something by God. It has been deferred, but he still has faith to believe God is going to do what he says. That is powerful. He is considered the first Hebrew. He knows God. God knows him. He's done some powerful things for God. But what you need to understand about Abraham was God does not hide the fact. And I love this when I found it. You're going to like this too. I found out that with all Abraham had and God holding him up, Abraham was not perfect. He was not. God showed us his flaws as well as his good times. I don't know about you, but God is taking our life. Y'all watch this. I compare it to God is putting our life together like a powerful symphony. He takes the bad notes, the stuff we mess up, and the good notes, the stuff that we do well. Then he cleans up the melody and puts us together like a song. Come on, somebody. You know there's been a day when you jumped up in the morning and your life was singing because God had put everything back together again. Here's what I want you to know. I was glad when God showed me Abraham was not perfect, because it lets me know that I done been through some bad notes. Come on, y'all. I've got some good notes, but if God's still working in me, it means he's not done with me yet. Can somebody at least shout the fact that God has not thrown you away? How many of y'all know I would have been giving up on me? There's some things I've done that I would have told God, God, you shouldn't even be looking at somebody like me. And yet he continues to say, I'm not done. How do I know? Because right here in the text it says he tested Abraham. Why God testing somebody he ain't going to use no more? Some of y'all need to shout. Do you realize the only reason you're still crying, the only reason you're still going through is because God's still trying to use you. That pain, God wants to use you. That lack in your life, God wants to use you. He's building you up to a place that you will have his ultimate power after you learn how to trust him. Here's what the text says. This test for Abraham is not a test to prove that he has faith. That's what we want to look at. This test is to reveal his faith. Oh, what are you talking about, God? Saying you have more faith than you know. I just got to put you in the right condition to use your faith. Here's what he said. You've already found out you can trust me. I know I can trust you, or I wouldn't be still messing with you. Don't forget that one. Write that one down. He still believes he can trust you. I know you bad. I know you've done all kinds of stuff. But he still believes he can trust you. And he is God. And the third thing you need to realize is, because of that, here's what this text is about. He says, now I got to show you that you can trust me. But I can't show you that until you learn to stand through some dark circumstances. Right there in the text. The first reason God tests us. You want to know why? What am I going through? I just told you God wants the best for your life. And here's why you're going through. God wants to make sure you can stand. So if you have a faith that can't be tested, I can't tell whether you can stand or not. You remember when the disciples were out in the boat and the storm came along? They had been walking with Jesus. He had just got done healing. He was blessing everybody. They saw his power. Can you see him? Getting into the boat, smiling, Jesus in the boat with him. Then a storm came along. Wait a minute. What happened? The storm came along. Those disciples came up top, saw Jesus. I don't know what part of the boat he was sleeping in, but I do know he had his head on the pillow. He was probably snoring. You know, he got one of them good sleep with the saliva coming down your mouth. Jesus had worked hard all day. He was laying on that pillow ready to go. And the disciples had the nerve to go downstairs and say, Master, I know they were scared when they woke him up. Jesus, and let me tell you something. In defense of the disciples, it wasn't a little storm. No, it said the water was overflowing the boat. Come on, I'm not talking about a little storm. I want everybody to think I'm trying to trivialize your test you're going through. But here's what God said. If I'm on the boat, if I'm still in your life, can you please tell me why you don't have no faith? Jesus jumped up, come on, you know the story, walked in there and said, wait a minute. I just healed you. You saw. How is it you don't have any faith? Here's the problem. It's not that they didn't have any faith. They just can't stand. You got to learn how to stand in the midst of. The reason God tests us is so he can see if we're going to stand when things get really bad. What am I talking about? Can you imagine David going out in front of Goliath? And David standing there and the giant. Y'all think about David, wrapping the stone around, cracking the giant. But what about the fact that he had to stand in front of this giant while this giant sold whoop tickets? This giant was telling him all the stuff he's going to do to you. And you know what David did? What I'm telling you to do. You know what he did? He stood. Oh, I'm talking to somebody right now. The enemy is whispering in your ear, what are you going to do to you? What you need to do is rise up and just stand. Tell him you haven't done it yet. You thought you were going to take me out. You haven't taken me out yet. You know what I'm doing? I'm standing. And the devil got nerve to ask you how long you're going to stand. I'm going to stand as long as it takes. Have I got some standers out there that say, I'm going to stand anyhow. I know things are bad, but giant, you ain't pushing me off my praise. How about Joshua? Do you realize? Here's how God does. God wants me to stand when I'm in front of a giant. He also wants me to stand after I fail. Joshua had just come back from Ai. Ai sent him on the run. Little teeny battle. They couldn't fight. The next day, or weeks after, God said, now go tackle Jericho. It's like, wait a minute, God. I couldn't even fight Ai. What you want me to do? He said, you got to learn something. You got to shake that mess off. You got to shake off yesterday. Can I give somebody a blessing and a shout? If you survived yesterday, I don't care if you even fell down. If you got up this morning, shake that stuff off and got a brand new chance. Do you realize the best blessings in your life is when you stand after you fall? Oh, I heard somebody out there. Do you realize Abraham's familiar with that? Abraham was called by God to lead. That same 12th chapter. Do you know that Abraham lied as soon as he got to Egypt? He was afraid. That's right. The same Abraham that left by faith was afraid and told Sarah, say you my wife. Because he was afraid of what they were going to do to him. I always thought about that. I said, well, what about Sarah? I mean, he was just having away with Sarah. Yeah, and that's how deep he went. Abraham actually said, then he did it again with King Abimelech. This was years later after seeing what God did. Abraham had to be confirmed. God had to confirm the covenant 3 times in Abraham. Chapter 12, chapter 15, chapter 17, and now here. What am I trying to tell you? You got to learn how to stand no matter how many times you fall. Because when he called Abraham, look what Abraham said. Here I am. In the Hebrew, that word says, I'm listening, Lord. Don't take that little, guys. He said, I'm listening, Lord, meaning that you got to understand that you have to learn how to stand because you got to listen to what God said. Now, when Abraham said, I'm listening, I bet he didn't think he was going to hear this. He did not think he was going to hear this. Watch this. God said, okay, Abraham, take your son. Watch this series of things. Look at your text. Your only son. He said, just in case you're confused, Isaac. Take him to Mount Moriah and sacrifice him there. That is a what moment? Isn't that where you asking God, what are you talking about? But the second thing God does to test you, not only does he want you to stand, he wants to see, write this down, get it, if you're going to fight through the worst problems in your life. Here's what some of us do. We like to tell God, yeah, God, you can have all my pain. You can have this. You can have that. That's stuff we know how to handle. But how about the stuff we can't handle? So God said, I want you to learn how to stand. Watch me sometimes. Through loss. Yeah. Through a disruption of your family. Through death. Through sickness. God said, I'm going to take you to the hard stuff. But here's the problem in this test. He told Abraham, I want you to take your son to Mount Moriah and kill him. Now, I don't know about you, but I know Abraham had to deal with some doubts. Because, you know, in Canaan, they had tribes that God had separated them from that did human sacrifice. So I know Abraham was thinking, well, this can't be God. This must be the devil. Because I know, God, you told us to abhor human sacrifices. That's what those other gods do. We're not supposed to do that. But Abraham just kept quiet. But I know he had some doubts, and he had to fight through the doubts. All I'm telling you is, don't let anybody tell you because you doubt, especially the devil, there's something wrong with you. No, we all doubt. There are days when doubts are so strong, that's what makes us grab hold of God even stronger. And then, if you don't believe that, look at the pressure he put on Abraham. He said, take your only son. Stop for a minute, guys. Stop. Watch this. Take your only son. Amen. Didn't Abraham have 2 sons? There was Isaac. You know, did he have a Hagar? And then there was Ishmael, and then there was Isaac. So he had Ishmael by Hagar, but right before this verses, that's why the text says, after these things. But here's what I didn't understand about God. Why are you rubbing salt in my wound? I slept with Hagar. I know I messed up. I did it because Sarah told me to. Then I had to put Hagar out, and I had to cast Ishmael out and have no more thinking of him. All I had to do was make sure I knew Isaac was the promised seed. But God, you don't have to bring that up now and come to think of it. Now you're telling me to kill Isaac. Look at the pressure. Why would God bring back something to your mind? I'm going to tell you why. Here's why. Because the trials that you go through the most and the worst trials never go away. He brings them back to your mind because he knows you're going to have to fight them again. I'm trying to help somebody maintain victory. Don't you ever think because you fought that trial once, it's going to run away from you. No, that trial going to come back and try you tonight. You overcame it yesterday, last week. But when you lay your head on your pillow, here comes that same demon. You may have to fight it the rest of your life, but you got to learn how to fight. What do I mean by fighting? You got to learn that God, remember, this is a test. Testing. God said, even in fighting, you got to learn how to fight. How do I fight, God? You don't grunt. You don't stand up and say, ooh, I'm strong. No, that didn't work for Samson. That ain't going to work for you. Here's what it is. There's a story told by Richard Bonnke. And he says this, Bonnke, and he says this. He said, there was a man who had a 2-story house. And one night there was a knock at the door, and it was Jesus standing at the door. And he opened Jesus, let him come in, and he told Jesus, you can have the room upstairs. So Jesus moved in with the man and went to the room upstairs. And then that night, while he was sleeping, there was a pounding on the door. The door cracked, and the devil burst in the room. And the devil started fighting him, and he was fighting, trying to break free from temptation, trying to break free from all of the pain. He was just pushing and fighting. He barely got the devil out the door and slammed the door. Next morning, when he woke up, he said, Jesus! Jesus came down from his room and said, did you hear me fighting the devil last night? Why didn't you come out there and help me? Jesus said, well, you got the whole house. I only got one room. He said, oh, I got it, Jesus. You can have the whole 2nd floor. So that night, the man went to bed, and the devil came back again. This time he busted through the door, fighting the man. There was noise, there was kicking furniture, and everything. He knew Jesus could hear us. He was right upstairs. All of a sudden, he got the devil locked out. This time, he barely made it. The next day, he was really hot. He looked at Jesus and said, Jesus, why didn't you help me? I know you heard that. You're right there. Jesus said, well, you got the whole house. I only got the 2nd floor. He said, I got it, Jesus. You know what? You can have the whole house. And then, that night, the man laid down to go to sleep. There was a pounding at the door. But this time, he didn't wake up. Jesus went to the door, opened the door wide, and stood in front of it. And the devil looked up and saw Jesus and said, oh, I must have the wrong house. Real fighting is not your fighting. The battle is the Lord's. Maybe the reason you can't fight is because you're sitting out there fighting in your own strength. What you got to do is give Jesus your whole house. Give Jesus the run of your house, and Jesus will fight your battles. How many know that the real fighting is not what I'm doing in my strength? It's when I get on my knees. It's when I tell God, here's the battle, Lord. I can't handle this. Some of y'all think I'm strong. You think I made it through when I had cancer. I made it through when I was sick because I'm such a powerful spiritual warrior. Nah, you got it wrong. The only reason I'm still standing here, and I need somebody to testify with me, that the only reason I'm standing here is I turned it over to Jesus. Won't Jesus fix it? Won't Jesus make it better? Won't Jesus give you the strength to handle what you're going through? Doesn't matter how big the dog is in the fight. It's matter how big the fight is in the dog. And my fight inside of me is the Holy Spirit. He's going to fight my back. Look, second thing, you have to walk in obedience. Not only must you learn to be tested, you got to walk in obedience. Listen to the text. Early the next morning, he was not playing. Abraham got up early to kill his own son. Don't y'all miss this. Abraham got up and loaded the donkey. He took him with his 2 servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he sent it out to a place that God had told him about. Look at the text. And he said it was on the 3rd day that he got up, saddled his donkey, and told his men, stay here. Me and the boy are going somewhere and we're coming back. This is one of the roughest parts in the Bible. You have to learn how to walk in obedience. Obedience is when I say I'm going to trust God. Can you imagine what was going through Abraham's mind? Lord, you know, I did read to you, it was 3 days. He had 3 days to turn around, give up, but he decided, I'm going to trust God anyway. Wow. And it said on the 3rd day, he looked at his men and said, me and the boy are going up there, we'll be back. But here's what you got to understand about obedience. Obedience is, I got to trust that God knows what he's doing. I'll never forget when I was doing my driving ed test. Y'all don't have to do this now. There was a time we had to do it. We had to go over to the place to get our license, and we had to put the man in the car with us who was giving us instructions while we were driving. And the man got in the car, and I remember I was driving, and I was just so nervous, and he was giving me instructions. Left signal, right turn, do a C turn, a Y turn, back up. And I remember I was getting so panicky and frantic. The man stopped the car because he knew how to brake on his side. He stopped the car and said, look, boy, I'm giving the instructions. Your job is to follow. Hello, I just said something, y'all. You don't realize God said, I'm the one giving the instructions. You got to follow. The how is my job. The what is your job. How you get through this, you may not know. But I know I can get you through. What you got to realize is, I got to follow the instructions. God got to give the instructions. And if you don't like that, do your own life. But God said, remember something. The resources, can you get this? Come from me. I'm almost done. Resources come from me. You got to learn how to be confident. Look what Abraham said. Me and my son are going up. Do what God said. Kill him. This part I didn't understand. To understand, he was walking by obedience. He said, but we'll be right back. That meant that Abraham confessed his power and strength in God even before he saw it. Oh, somebody sitting out there right now, I don't know what you're sitting on, I don't know what your needs are, but you got to start confessing your needs even before you get it. And someone will walk up just like they did up here and drop it in your box and fill your needs.
Amen, amen.
But you got to learn how to confess your needs even before you do. Abraham was obedient and trusted God. He started confessing. Here's what you ought to do. Don't confess what you got. Confess what you are. I am an overcomer. And if you don't believe you're an overcomer, confess what you already overcame. I overcame some sickness. I overcame some tragedy. I know I'm an overcomer. You know, some days the devil will shake your boat, but you got to tell him, I must be an overcomer. I'm still here. Can somebody at least say, you don't know what battles I had? You don't know what the devil had to do in my life? You don't know how many times I struggled, but I'm still here. Somebody shout, I'm still here. Abraham was obedient to God. And I want you to know there's 3 forms of obedience, and I'm going to close this message. So Father, you're going to write this down. First of all, you got to trust and believe God even when you don't understand what God is doing. Secondly, you got to trust and believe God, right? Watch this. And not seek counsel of other people. This is a good one. Here's the thing I want people to know. You better quit listening to people when God gives you a revelation. Yeah. When God tells you something about deliverance, you're in a place, you're in a zone that you know, even yourself know you walked out of that zone. But when you're in that place with God, anybody know what I mean? The Holy Spirit shining down on you, you're talking to God, and it's like you could eat iron. It's like you're there. So don't ever walk out of that position by letting people talk you out of what God said for you to do. Real obedience is putting God's word ahead of people. If God said it, I trust he can do it. Let me tell you what's happening. You're going to miss your blessing listening to people. Yeah. Somebody's going to talk you out of your greatness. They're going to talk you out of your destiny. They're going to talk you out of your inheritance because you're listening. What am I talking about? Look in the Bible at the folk who would have been left if they'd have listened to folk. Blind Bartimaeus would have still been blind, laying on the road crying, because when he said, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me, everybody told him, shut up. But he kept crying because he didn't listen to other people. Job would have still been sitting in a pile of ashes with boils all over his body if he'd have listened to his wife, because his wife told him, curse your God and die. That thief on the cross that said, when Jesus looked at him and said, today you will be with me in paradise, he would have still been in hell with his other friend if he did not realize that God said you're going to be in paradise. He was going to be in paradise. You better quit listening to other people. Amen. And the last one, Joshua and Caleb, would have died in the wilderness. Yeah. I'm going to stop right here. Your friends, your people that tell you not to do what God said, all they're trying to do is keep you in the same desert they're in. Yeah. They don't want you to rise above it. Come on, how many want to see a miracle? How many want to see a blessing and anointing that comes down that has nothing to do? All I know is I just got to keep this thing between God and me. And the last one is obedience is not only, you may not understand. It's not your job to understand. Follow the instructions. You may not listen to other people. Don't take other counsel. Abraham didn't ask anybody. He just kept on going. Didn't even tell the men where he was going. And the third thing is you got to remember that.
Thank you, Lord.
You may not feel like doing what God said, but do it anyway. I'm not going to stay here long. If church was back in session, I would ride this one. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Sometimes you don't feel like it, but that's when you miss your best blessing. How many know your best blessings is when it's not what you feel like, it's when you understand that if I move anyhow. How many times you didn't look? I got camera people out here right now. They probably didn't feel like getting up this morning, but they got up because they know they were compelled by God. I got sound men and a few musicians in here. I mean, quick for y'all think we violate, how many people are being here. But anyway, what I want to tell you is, I got people that didn't feel like getting up. And you want some good news? I don't feel like getting up some days to come. But I know my best blessings is when I move, when I can't feel it. Because God is backing me up. There was a movie not long ago called The Bear. And in the movie The Bear, you might have seen it in theater, there was this one bear cub got caught away from his mother. And he was caught in some bushes. And a big lion was after him. And this lion was pawing him. And the bear cub was hiding in some bushes, and he kept trying to strike out, but he was making this high-pitched noise, like shrieking. And the lion kept reaching in, trying to grab him. And the little bear was just about to get eaten when all of a sudden he turned around and saw the lion took off. Man, that little bear reared up on his legs and roared his little roar. But just at that moment, the camera moves to a 700-pound mama bear that had come on the scene getting ready to destroy that lion. All I'm trying to say is, while you're sitting there fighting your battle, don't you ever think God ain't behind you. He got your back. All I'm telling you is, the devil's not going to run for you, but if you have faith and obedience, God is already making a way out. Amen. Let's close this. You're going to have to be tested. You got to walk in obedience. Learn to stand. Learn to fight. Trust God when you don't understand. Trust God when you can't see anything. Trust God when you don't feel like it. And finally, verse 6, look what it says. This will take us down to the end, because you know the story. You will receive God's power and blessing. I love this. What happened was, Abraham saddled his donkey. That's another thing. Why is a rich man saddling his own donkey? Because he was in that much a hurry to do what God said. He saddled his donkey. Can you see him? It said him and Isaac walked together. I don't want you to miss this, because right here is where the story would have ended for us. As parents, as they were walking, you know Isaac was not a little boy, he was a teenager. But I don't care who he was, it's still your baby. You're on your way to kill him. He said, I see the knife, I see the wood, I see the fire. Where is the sacrifice? But this part got me. If one of my kids would have said, Daddy, I see everything, but where is the sacrifice? And I'm knowing that I'm going to kill one of them. Can you imagine the pain going through his heart? Because his own child said, Dad, where is it? Look at one more instance of him believing God's got a ram. He said, son, God will provide himself a ram. Don't miss this. Stay with me. Watch this. God, he's saying, whatever God does for you, he's really doing for himself, because he's proven he's God by blessing you. All I'm saying is, whatever he does for you brings him glory. God provided. All God was doing was trying to see, can I trust you with the worst? Come on, look at me like that. I know all of us wish we had the faith of Abraham, that if our child was walking beside us, looked up at us with that big puppy dog look and said, Father, what were you ready to do? Some of us would have said nothing. We'd have turned around and went back. He said, God will provide himself a lamb. Here's what happened. I believe if I could have a sanctified Holy Ghost imagination moment, I believe up in heaven, that's when God, who knew what was going to happen, got a big smile on his face. Said, look at my boy. I put him in the worst shape ever, and he's still marching toward me. Look at my girl. She's sitting there, all hell breaking loose, and she relaxed, knowing that I got this. Right in the middle, not questioning. Not one time did you see Abraham question. He just knew God got this. And all of a sudden, I believe that was the turning point. That's when God blessed him. But Abraham was so bent on pleasing God that he followed the text and said he kept on going, tied his son up. I need you to know that Isaac had to lay down to get tied up. God bless you, Isaac. Tied him up, did what he said. And he was so intent on doing what God said that he raised the knife up and the angel had to call him twice. Don't miss this. Here's what real, I believe God got a ram faith will do for you. It will make you believe that God can resurrect dead dreams. How many of y'all know God can? I'm trying to help somebody out today. You sitting here this morning with something that died last year, or died 2 years ago, or died yesterday. What's the matter with you? God is a resurrection God. Don't you know he raised up Lazarus when he was dead? God will raise up stuff you thought was gone. God is still able to raise it up. All you got to do is trust him. Oh, God can give you the best years of your life ahead of you. God can give you some stuff that you never thought God could do. While you sitting here now limiting yourself, God up ahead of you in glory got all kind of blessings he wants to give you because he is a God who provides. And the text says they had to call him twice because he believed God. And then the angel of God, which I believe was, if we look symbolically, the angel of the Lord. Many times we know that it was a type of Jesus looking down and called him twice. I'm still shocked. He had to call him twice, y'all. Get ready to kill his child. He had that much faith in God because he was relaxed enough to know that God got ready. Can I do this? I love this. Just in case you haven't seen my picture here. This is a man laying down in a boat, sombrero on, and he's got sharks all around the boat. And he's sleeping. You know why? Because with sharks, darkness, sickness, problems, struggles, God still has a ram to bless you with. Let me close. God has a ram. That's what I tag this text. I want you to be able to say that when you start crying tomorrow night. Just say, God got a ram. He's got a ram called the bush. And he's going to get me out of what I'm in. Let me close this with a Christocentric thought. Do you realize God would not let Abraham kill his son? And God never asked us to do stuff that he know we can't do. But did you realize that what he didn't do with Abraham, he did with his own son? This is representing the cross of Jesus Christ, where God. So when I tell you God's going to meet you there, watch the 3 points. You will be tested, you will have obedience. The last one is you're going to get God's power. And then you'll get his blessing. So I didn't just turn into a preacher just talking all kind of spooky stuff. The blessings are, you can see Christ all in this message. Mount Moriah is a special mountain. It means God sees. That's where Jehovah Jireh was placed. And do you realize that later on, Solomon's temple was built on the mountain? It was destroyed 400 later. There was another temple built there in Jerusalem. God said Mount Moriah is special to show I always come back. So I'm telling somebody today, you can make a comeback because God already always has a ram. Come on, give God some praise today. Trust him. I don't know what your needs are. But you know what God does? All I have to do is ask, trust, obey. And he meets every one of my needs. Whenever you head down, every eye closed in here today. But this message is still resonating in my spirit. Somebody thought it was over. But if you can say these words, you can knock the devil right out of your house. Just say, God's always got a ram. Get you some ram confidence. I am confident my God will make a way. Right now, I'm going to pray, but I want to pray for you. At Shiloh, we believe that you can become an online member. All you have to do, we have a screen we're going to place up that talks about your online membership. And online membership is very simple. In this COVID era, we don't know what the world will look like in the next 2 years, 3 years, but we still taking in members. If you go to our website, www.SHILOH and you go to the form, press on the form, you fill it out right there, and just send. Send it right off to us. And we will send you back the benefits of membership. You will be in a church that you know needs are being met, a church that you know is doing social justice, a church that you know are trying to save souls and keep the Spirit of God moving, a church where our young people, I am so proud of our young people, they are showing during this time their Spirit of God that's in them. So you can become a member, but let me pray for you if you're not saved today. Say these words after me. Say, Lord God, I am a sinner. I struggle. I hurt. I need you. I believe you died on the cross for my sins. I confess it now with my mouth. I am saved. Say it again. I am saved. Say these words. Jesus is Lord. We believe that if you confess that prayer out of your heart and you believed it, you are saved. So here is where you call if you want salvation or prayer. But if you want membership, we also need you to know that there is a membership, www.SHILOH. Have a blessed day. If you want to give to this ministry, go to our website, press give. There'll be places that you can give. God bless you. Don't forget Wednesday night, we're on. Don't forget our daily devotions. Don't forget every day we have devotions going on with us. And I dare you to come and listen to our young millennials. They are blowing our mind as they know the God that's going to bring them through. Everybody have a great day. This is Pastor Dunkins saying, God bless you. Pray for me, and I'll pray for you.